Everyone's talking about the Nikon Z80, but maybe it's time we slow down and ask, are we chasing hype or spotting a real shift in Nikon's mirrorless game? In an industry obsessed with spec sheets and rumors, we often forget to question what actually matters. What if the Z80 isn't just another camera, but a pivotal moment that reveals Nikon's true vision for creators? Or worse, what if it's just a marketing exercise when photographers need something more? Welcome to Alt Buzz, where we cut through the noise to find the signal. If you're new here, consider subscribing for camera analysis that goes beyond the obvious. Now let's dive into what might be Nikon's most talked about camera of 2025. The photography world is buzzing with speculation. Forums are ablaze with wishful thinking. YouTube is flooded with prediction videos. Everyone seems convinced the Z80 will be Nikon's answer to the growing pressure from Sony and Canon in the mid-tier mirrorless space. Most rumors position it as either a direct replacement for the aging Z50 or as a new middle ground between the entry-level Z50 and the enthusiast-focused Z6F. There's talk of improved autofocus, better video capabilities, and a refreshed design language. The usual checklist of incremental upgrades. But instead of echoing the same specs you've heard repeated across a dozen channels, we're connecting the bigger picture. And why this camera might be more about timing than technology. Because the truth is, Nikon isn't just releasing another body. They're making a statement about their commitment to the APS-C format at a critical moment when many photographers are questioning whether crop sensors still have a place in the professional landscape. Let's address what insiders believe the Z80 will bring to the table, but with context that matters beyond the numbers. The sensor is likely to be a 24-megapixel BSI CMOS design. Some think it might borrow technology from the Z6F, which would mean better low-light performance and dynamic range. But the real question isn't whether Nikon can deliver 24 megapixels. It's whether they're innovating or just catching up. When competitors are pushing computational photography and stacked sensor designs even in their mid-range offerings, is another conventional sensor really enough to turn heads? Video capabilities will almost certainly include 4K at 60 frames per second, with full HD likely reaching 120 frames per second. These numbers sound impressive until you realize they've become standard fare across the industry. The deeper question is whether Nikon will finally address the overheating issues that have plagued their compact bodies, or if they'll continue to limit recording times in ways that frustrate serious content creators. And will they finally include a fully articulating screen that videographers have been begging for? Autofocus is where rumors get particularly interesting. The Z50's focus system was adequate but far from remarkable. The Z80 will undoubtedly improve tracking performance, possibly borrowing algorithms from higher-end models. But is it enough in 2025 when Canon's dual Pixel 2 system is redefining expectations and Sony's real-time tracking continues to evolve? Nikon has always been a step behind in autofocus innovation. Is this where they finally close the gap, or just another incremental improvement that leaves them trailing the competition? As for the body design, sources suggest a slightly larger grip and improved weather sealing compared to the Z50. The control layout might balance between accessibility for beginners and customization for experienced shooters. But the fundamental question remains, will it feel like a premium tool worth upgrading to, or just another plastic-heavy body that reminds users they didn't spend enough for the real thing? If Nikon brings a slightly better Z50 with a higher price tag, is that innovation or just safe evolution? Because the market in 2025 doesn't reward playing it safe. Photographers and filmmakers are looking for cameras that solve problems and open creative doors, not just tick specification boxes that should have been checked years ago. There's a widening gap between what the community is asking for and what camera manufacturers deliver, especially in the mid-range segment where the Z80 will compete. So let's be crystal clear about what creators actually want from a camera in this category. First, versatility. Today's content creators don't just take photos or just shoot video. They do both, often switching rapidly between modes. They need tools that transition seamlessly without compromising either experience. That means a truly articulated screen that works for every angle, not just a tilting display designed primarily for stills. It means dual card slots for peace of mind when shooting once-in-a-lifetime moments. And it absolutely means effective in-body stabilization that works across both photo and video applications. Second, they want a genuine ecosystem. The Z mount system has been around long enough that the "it's still developing" excuse is wearing thin. Creators need native lenses that don't break the bank, but still deliver the image quality that made them choose Nikon in the first place. They need third-party support to fill specialized niches. Most importantly, they need to feel confident that investing in the system now won't leave them stranded if Nikon shifts priorities again. Third, they want meaningful battery life. Not just enough for a casual afternoon shoot, but enough to get through a full day of hybrid work without constantly swapping batteries or lugging around external power banks. This is an area where Nikon has consistently under-delivered compared to competitors. And finally, creators want value that reflects market realities. The days when brand loyalty alone could justify premium pricing are over. If the Z80 arrives with a price tag that puts it in direct competition with more feature-rich alternatives from Sony or Fuji, it needs to justify that positioning with more than just the Nikon name. Do creators want another tweaked version of the same formula? Or something that makes APS-C feel exciting again? Because Canon and Sony have both demonstrated that crop sensors can still inspire genuine enthusiasm when paired with innovative features and thoughtful design. The question is whether Nikon still believes in this segment enough to truly compete, or if they see APS-C as merely a stepping stone to their full-frame offerings. Despite my critical tone so far, there's a remarkable opportunity here that I hope Nikon recognizes. The Z80 could be far more than just another iterative release. It could redefine what photographers expect from a mid-tier camera. The Z mount system has reached a level of maturity where Nikon can finally leverage its full potential across both full-frame and APS-C formats. With the right combination of features, the Z80 could breathe new life into Nikon's crop sensor strategy while complementing their higher-end offerings rather than cannibalizing them. Imagine a Z80 that borrows the autofocus intelligence from the Z9, but in a compact, affordable body. Picture a camera that handles heat dissipation properly, allowing for unlimited recording times in standard environments. Envision a body with enough physical controls to satisfy enthusiasts while maintaining accessibility for those moving up from smartphone photography. This could be Nikon's chance to claim the APS-C space the way Sony once did with the Alpha 6000 series. By creating a camera that professionals are happy to use as a backup and enthusiasts can grow with for years. By striking the perfect balance between capability and affordability, Nikon could create a new generation of loyal users who eventually transition to their premium offerings. But achieving this requires courage, the willingness to potentially cannibalize some full-frame sales in the short term to build a stronger ecosystem for the future. It means acknowledging that APS-C isn't just an entry point, but a legitimate format with its own unique advantages for certain types of photography and filmmaking. Before we buy into the hype, maybe we need to ask, not what Nikon will deliver, but what they should deliver. Because the answer to that question reveals far more about the future of photography than any spec sheet ever could. Maybe the Nikon Z80 will be exactly what's rumored. But if that's all it is, maybe it's not enough. Maybe the future of mirrorless needs something braver. A camera that doesn't just iterate, but innovates in ways that actually matter to how we create images today. In an era where computational photography is redefining what's possible and smartphones continue to eat into the traditional camera market, manufacturers need to offer more than marginal improvements to justify their existence. They need to provide tools that genuinely expand creative possibilities and solve real-world problems for photographers and filmmakers. The Z80 represents more than just another camera launch. It's a referendum on Nikon's understanding of today's creators and their vision for photography's future. Will they play it safe, or will they surprise us all with something truly worth talking about? Either way, we'll be here to cut through the marketing and tell you what really matters. Subscribe to Alt Buzz, leave your thoughts in the comments, send a super thanks, and consider joining the channel membership for more deep, honest camera content that cuts through the noise. Until next time, keep questioning the hype. Your creativity deserves tools that genuinely serve it, not just ones that look good in press releases.